Damien from Defender 90 Orkney. I thought I would put together a reaction video to Richard Hammond revealing the Land Rover Defender on Drive Tribe. I have watched the video once. I'm going to watch it again now for you guys and sort of react to it as it's playing and give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video on what I think of the new Defender. So here we go.
In 1948, when Maurice Wilks outlined the original Land Rover in the sand at... Oh, sod the history lesson. It's here. The waiting is over, and there has been a lot of waiting. It's 3 years since the last one was finally killed off, and the new one has been in development for a lot longer than that. 62,000 tests and...
Okay, first things first, you can see the 90 here. Obviously, myself having a 90. When I watched the Unveiling, when they did it, and I saw the 90 come down the ramp, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. And then they brought it down, and then Jerry McGovern was standing next to it, and I thought, hey, this is actually a pretty cool little short wheelbase, you know, something along the lines of the new Suzuki. And then the video, the Unveiling kept going, and then after that it came to some commercial version, and from then on I just saw another side of it, and I got to say I'm not really liking it. That first shot I was loving it, and I sort of saw that afterwards and I was like, oh, that looks like it does. The people who have been saying it looks like a Kia or whatever, it really does look like that. So anyway, we'll keep the video going.
1.2 million kilometers later, and now for the first time you can gaze upon the new icon, the new legend, the new, well, it's the new Land Rover Defender. First out the blocks is this one, the 110, on sale now in 128 countries. Starting price in the UK, £45,250. It'll be followed soon by this one, the 90, which will start from around £40,000. Engines, well, it's launched.
Stop that again there. I don't mind that 110. The 110 looks really good, especially in that colour with the black bonnet. I actually do like the look of it. What you've got to remember when I'm saying all this is nothing's going to beat what the actual Defender, like one I have or a normal 110, looks like. This is a different car. They're different categories. I'm going to tell you what I think later as to what I would use this car for. But for now, I really like this 110 in that bronzy, browny look with the black bonnet. The 90 is a Kia. So we'll keep going.
Amazingly, with a diesel and a 4-cylinder petrol, and perhaps more interestingly, a 6-cylinder petrol with mild hybrid assistance, which means the alternator is basically a starter motor that can feed back power harnessed from engine braking. There will be a
I also like the integrated snorkel. I think that's a really nice touch. It does look cool, rather than having this clumpy snorkel hanging off the side of it. So do like that touch.
Plug-in hybrid version available soon, so it is modern-ish. Soon will be. I can't believe it is finally here. The new Defender. And it is new, completely so. Do not go thinking that this is a Discovery Sport or something else in a pair of Defender overalls.
One thing you can see here is, to me, the rims or the wheels are way too big. You're not going to be able to fit like rubber with tall sidewalls on them. So yeah, that's, you know, this is going to be for a certain market and a certain need. I don't think this car is made to take on the harshest of harsh terrain. No matter how much a Land Rover wants to push that it is, and the Red Cross and all this sort of stuff, you can just see the suspension setup, the tyre and wheel combo is not made for hardcore. So we'll keep going.
The underlying architecture was developed specifically for this car and comes with the inevitable claims that it's stiffer than any body structure they've made before. 3 times stiffer, in fact, than the traditional body-on-frame design. Though I don't remember my old Defender being made of blancmange. Anyway, this is the first time you've seen it, so let's talk about the looks. Design Chief Jerry McGovern said the new Defender must be respectful of its past, but not harnessed by it. Well, there are clear design cues from the old Defender here.
I'm sorry, but it does not pay homage to the old Defender enough at all. It's paying homage to like the recent Discos and the Range Rovers that have come out. It looks more like it's doing some tribute to that, not to the old Defender. There's not enough cues taken from the old Defender in this car. So they can say whatever they want. Richard Hammond's clearly, this is an ad for Land Rover, but anyway.
Flat front and rear, these Alpine light windows in the roof, the spare wheel mounted.
That panel on the side of the car, I don't know what that's all about. I think he says it reinforces something in the Unveiling over the rear wheel to give it a look of sturdiness. I just get rid of that. That looks rubbish.
Externally on the tailgate itself is side hinged, and this sharp return here at the back, all of these to me echo the old Defender language. So it is respectful of its past, but is it harnessed by it? Well, it's a monocoque for the first time. The all-independent suspension can be had with coil springs or electronic air suspension.
Why change the suspension? This is the main reason I don't like this car, for something that I could do everything with. I can do certain things with this car, but I will not be able to do everything I'd want to do with this car. Mainly because of the suspension. IFS, IRS, airbags, yes, coils is an option. I'm out. For the hardest of hard, but I will explain more for what I would use this for later.
And that brings the chance for the Defender to be a bit of a split personality. Off-road, it can raise itself up by 145 millimetres. Then back on the road, the air suspension works with adaptive dynamics to give, they claim, great road manners. More amusingly, when you...
See, the 90 doesn't look too bad here. I like how it looks. But then there's certain angles. I think those steel wheels that they have as an option are just don't look good. They can try and retro the hell out of it, but yeah, the steel wheels, I think that's where it goes a bit funny for me.
When you pull up outside a Monte Carlo casino, it lowers itself by 50 millimetres in a mode called Elegant Arrival. Yeah, it sounds like a bit of a gimmick, but for those of us shorter than the rest in the leg department, it's probably not a bad idea. It's been said that the Apollo 11 mission put man on the moon with 100,000 times less computing power than you have in your smartphone. Which is interesting, because my old Defender has 100,000 times less computing power than a piano stool. Well, Land Rover have clearly decided to do something about that. They're launching their new infotainment system, PV Pro, on this car, which promises to be faster and more intuitive and all those other millennial things. It can actually connect to two smartphones at the same time, although my 16-year-old daughter can do that. It's got head-up display, cameras everywhere to give you a full 360 view of the terrain around you. The sat-nav learns to cut the audio instructions when it realises you're driving through familiar territory.
Okay, one thing I'll say with this, I think it's called PV system. I actually do like these kind of techie things. If I could have something like this in my 90 to be nice. Not so much the cameras and all that, but you know, the entertainment system and you know, the sat nav, stuff like that. You know, especially if you could have like all four-wheel drive tracks within that sat nav, that I would love. I would love that. And obviously this is going to be much more comfortable than the old Defender. That's something, you know, I would like. I would like more comfort and better ergonomics. The vision in my 90 is amazing because you sit so high up, you get to see everything. But it's just, you know, I've had to buy Recaro seats to make it more comfortable. Whereas this thing, I know it's gonna, you can look at it and just say it's gonna be beautifully comfortable. So tick for that. The whole camera thing and driving for you, not so much for me.
It's got 85 ECUs that can process 21,000 network messages at once. I have no idea what that means, but 21,000 of anything is a lot. Land Rover have dubbed it the all-terrain supercomputer. Yeah, I know, but it is clever. They clearly haven't spent all those years eating biscuits and arguing about where to put the gear lever. Speaking of which, it's here to make room for this third seat at the front, something you haven't been able to do in a Land Rover for decades. And even here, tech comes into play because with a passenger in the middle, the mirror automatically turns into a screen showing a rear view camera because your passenger's noggin will be blocking the actual mirror.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I think only the 90s come in a three-seater. And the whole mirror thing, that's tick. I'll give that a tick. Nice.
It's a clever Land Rover. Put it into the new Wade program and it automatically raises itself and displays the depth of the water on the screen. And it can wade in up to 900 millimeters. That's... well,
okay, that's cool. I like that little feature. That is a gimmicky little bullshit feature, but telling you the depth of water that you're going through, that's got cool factor. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Over my head, probably. And then when you exit Wade mode, it drags the brakes briefly to dry the discs. For me, this interior works.
That's cool too. So when you do a river crossing, your brakes are usually not going to be functioning until all the water's out of them. So what the new Defender does is, I guess, drag the brakes when you're exiting the river to dry up the brakes so you can use your brakes straight away. That's cool too.
The central beam is die-cast aluminium alloy, and it is structural. They left it visible as a nod to the interior of the old Defenders. You can have seats made with a wool-based material harking back to the old days, or you can have posh Windsor leather, or suede and high-tech new materials. And it can be a 5, 6 or 5+2 seater depending upon your configuration. Have they done it? I know I shouldn't be biased, but I really hope so. I really wish that this was a two-way conversation. I wish I could hear and see whether you're a die-hard Landy fan, whooping and hollering 'cause you love it, or waving your high-lift jack in the air, gathering a mob to storm the factory, which is in Slovakia. There's just so much to talk about here. It may be an all-terrain supercomputer, but it is launched with a diesel in the range. It does have a completely flat underbody to aid the aerodynamics, which I fear may be rather cancelled out by the completely flat front. Does it look right? I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I don't think there's ever been a harder job in the automotive world than designing the new Defender. No car is going to be subject to closer scrutiny from a more passionate band of loyal followers. So you've seen it now. I've told you a bit about it. Obviously, we have to have a go in one as soon as we can. Meanwhile, I want to know what you think of it. It's over to you.
All right, thank you, Richard. Here's my thoughts. I would not take this car on very hardcore terrain. The suspension will not get you there. You will not be able to modify it without big dollars. And even then, you'd have to get all that engineered. It's not worth doing. You'd go and get another car to do that. What would I use this car for? I would definitely have this as a family car. I'd get the 110. I wouldn't even bother with the 90. I would use it as a family car. I would use it for camping trips, going away to the Victorian High Country on some light to medium sort of stuff. You can do your river crossings, you can do your sort of file trail tracks. But that's as far as it goes. It's a very good looking car. It's got some awesome tech, but it's lost a little something. It's lost that basic stuff that a Defender was all about. The modifiability, the customization that you can do. I just don't see it happening on this car. It's a nice car. There's some things I do like. There's some things I don't like. That's it, guys. I've got really not much else to say about it. So let me know what you think. Put it down in the comments section. and let's have a discussion about the new Defender. Thanks, guys.